I was 14 years old when I had to live with my grandparents. I had to live with them because my sister was in college and my parents were divorced. They lived in this old bungalow type house. It was one story and we have stairs that immediately go up to the attic. An attic which no one really uses. We just put stuff in there. It's too hot and stuffy up there. The sole window up there didn't really help. The attic had old, creaky wooden floors that I remember that I had to polish with a coconut shell, because that's how we do it here in the Philippines. That and my grandparents are very traditional. The room to my door was near the stairs leading up to the attic. You opened my door and then face right, and the stairs would be immediately right there. I hated every time I left my room because I would expect that something would be crawling down from the attic. One night, my grandparents had to pick up my aunt's family from the airport. But because of the hellish traffic here, they had to leave at 7 p.m. and were expected to arrive no later than 5 a.m. So, a 14-year-old girl would be alone at home the whole time. I told them I would be safe here. We lived in a gated community. We have tons of guard dogs. Everything will be okay. Or so I thought. Before they left, we already had dinner, so I was stuck with cleaning the dishes and all. As I was doing that, I could hear a bunch of neighborhood dogs barking a lot. I didn't really think much of it, because the dogs always do that. When I finished cleaning up from dinner, I immediately had to lock every door and window and shut off all the lights before heading to bed. When I entered my room, the lights were on, and it looked normal. My anime posters were on the wall. My closet was untouched. My bed was next to my barred, tinted windows. We had to tint them because I was on the first floor and my grandparents wanted to make sure no one could peep in on a young girl's room. They were also barred because my uncle, who used to use the room, would always escape through there to go to parties. This was my grandparents' solution to that. Nothing was out of place to alarm me. Everything was normal until I turned off the lights. As soon as I turned the lights off, a silhouette of a man was illuminated by the streetlights outside. He looked like he had thick curly hair and a skinny build. I thought I was having hallucinations. So I turned the lights on again. He was gone. I turned them off again, and he was back. Lights on, gone. Lights off, gone. I sighed in relief. I was just tricking myself, I guess, or something else was casting the shadow. I double-locked my door just to be safe, one with the doorknob lock and one of those door latches type locks. Then tucked myself in. It was hard to fall asleep when a lot of dogs were barking outside. They weren't our dogs, they were the neighbors'. But I was finally falling asleep when I heard something from above me moving. Something in the attic. I pushed down the thought, I'm tricking myself again. I hugged my pillow. It's just rats, I said to myself. These rats seemed heavy and were also pushing furniture around. My heart sank when I heard them hurriedly go down the stairs and stop at the bottom. I covered myself with my blanket and I waited for something. I was also wishing that my parents had given me a phone at a time like this. But I only waited with bated breath. Suddenly, I heard my doorknob being gently fiddled. I wanted to vomit when I heard a click, followed by a quiet turn of the knob. The knob turned, but it didn't budge. When they noticed, they tried to push it. By this time, I had finally stood up, shaking. I was a kid, home alone with no phone, no means of defense. All that was saving me was that thick door from the olden days. I softly pushed my body up against the door and locked everything up again. I didn't want to make a sound. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want him to know I was here. I don't know why he stopped, but he did. I didn't go back to bed. I just sat there at the door, waiting. It felt like forever. I heard footsteps go up the stairs, but I still sat there. I saw something move in the corner of my eye. There, out the window. The shadow was back. I forced myself not to look. All I could think of was, thank God they were barred. I don't remember what happened after that. I think I fell asleep or was too scared to even think straight. I just remember the next day when my family and I were having breakfast. I casually brought it up. Grandfather, I think I heard footsteps in the attic last night. My grandmother scoffed. It's probably rats. I never brought it up again. I didn't want them to worry, but I do know this. Our dogs were caged up near the gate and were far from my room, so they wouldn't have seen anything. The only dogs who were near my room were the neighbors. Also, there was nothing outside my window that could cast a shadow that looked like a man. Lastly, the attic window was open. Hey guys, Yeagerbom here with the Yeagerlore channel. Hope you enjoyed this story about the man in the attic. If you have a story or know somebody that does, you can submit that story through my email or my Discord. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for listening, and if you subscribed, hey, thanks. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Yeagerbom, and I hope you have a great night.